we have our theme queued up.
Rim Country Forum today being brought to you by Holiday Cruises and Tours, Choice Auto and Truck, Anytime Fitness, Dan Good Flooring, Hospitality Wireless, Sunshine Cleaning and Restoration, and the Dana Law Group. Well, good. Finally, Friday morning, 5 minutes past 9 o'clock. Yep, it's Friday. You know what that means? It's time for your hometown movie guys, or at least most of them anyway. We have Tina and Andy with us in the studio. Craig is practicing social distancing at extreme levels, apparently, this morning. But nonetheless, we got a whole bunch of movie stuff to talk about. And, you know, as a matter of fact, right at the top of the list, I just wanted to bring up real quick, first of all, good morning to Tina and Andy. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Randy, and good morning, everyone out in Radio Land.
Radio Land.
And ditto, and like ditto, so much ditto.
Randy, I have to mention before I forget it, I was listening to one of the stations in the Valley yesterday, and lo and behold, our very own hometown movie guy, Tina Terry, called that radio station and plugged KMOG.
I did. Yeah, it was 960 The Patriot, and Seth Leibson has an afternoon show. He's great to listen to. And I did. I talked about our wonderful radio show, and I think, you know,
I bet they love that.
Well, no, a different time frame. You know, different time frame.
And I wanted to bring that up because I had never heard of anybody being so bold as to call one radio station and plug a different one.
We pay Tina big bucks to do this.
Yeah. But you know, it's a great, and I would actually plug his show at 3 o'clock on 960 The Patriot.
There you
You
go.
can listen to it in your car radio or sometimes on.
So you're an equal opportunity
I
name
am.
dropper. I like
Yes,
that.
I am. But thank you for listening, Andy.
You bet.
Yeah.
Well, now, one of the things, getting back to movies real quick, one of the things that I just wanted to mention this morning is we posted up yesterday the passing of Brian Dennehy, who passed away yesterday at the age of 81. And one of the things, you know, a lot of people remember him from First Blood or Tommy Boy, and looking at comments from folks online over just the wealth of movies that he had played a part in. The one that I didn't see anybody making a comment on was, and I think the first place that I remember seeing him was in Walking Tall, the original.
Oh.
And
in the olden days, Walking Tall.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, back when they were talkies. But anyway, he had just a whole bunch of movies, and a lot of people seem to really like the guy. He was a winner of 2 Tonys in his career that also spanned films including Tommy Boy, First Blood, and another one that he was well known for was Cocoon. And I'd forgotten about that one. That's a great movie, by the way.
And Silverado, he was in.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Silverado.
my gosh.
And you know, that goes right along with what you and I were talking about before the show today, Tina, and that, again, I first remembered him from Walking Tall, and it's a very, you know, heroic, sort of bigger-than-life character that he played there.
As he was.
Yeah, and then...
Yes, he was 6'3",
Yeah.
that boy.
High or wide?
No.
So never mind.
No.
But you know, he went from that to the next thing I remember seeing was him playing in First Blood, where he's playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that because I liked him as the heroic guy. But you know, that's just me. Okay.
He's an actor.
That's right.
The first thing I remember, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was one of his very early ones. He wasn't, you know, he was like, you know, third guy on the left, that kind of a role.
Mm-hmm.
But, and as you mentioned, Tina mentioned, he was 6'3", he's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't remember the specifics on this, but it was, I think he was in a fraternity house, and he was holding somebody off of the balcony by 1 foot, just holding him up.
That'll get your attention.
Yeah.
I always love those scenes. You know?
And
what does that say about me?
Yeah, and he's a big enough guy that you know, you could certainly believe that he could hold a guy off the balcony by his foot.
Yeah.
Well, you know, his daughter is also an actress, Elizabeth Dennehy. She tweeted yesterday on Twitter that, quote, "It is with heavy hearts that we announce that our father, Brian, passed away last night from natural causes, not COVID related. Larger than life, generous to a fault, a proud and devoted father and grandfather, he will be missed by his wife Jennifer, family, and many friends. So Brian Dennehy passed away at the age of 81. A lot of movies that he was in, some good big ones too.
This worries me because every time I see that somebody passed away at an age which is closer and closer to mine, I feel my mortality.
Well, the older we get, the more people we see passing away.
That's right.
It
That's
you know,
right.
puts us in touch with our humanity.
Another great movie that he was in, and I watched it several times when it came in. It was 1986, FX.
Okay.
And it was with Brian Brown, who's an Australian actor, and the great Jerry Orbach, who was a great character actor in that. But that's a super thriller.
Yeah, but FX was
Really
very,
good
very
movie.
well done.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a caller on the line at 10 minutes past 9
Have we
o'clock.
lost her?
I don't know. We'll find out if it's a he or a her. Hi, you're on Room Country Forum. Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Sounds
that hurt.
Good job, Randy.
All right, well, we let him sit there just long enough, apparently. If you'd like to chime in with your hometown movie guys on this Friday morning, give us a ring, 474-2427.
Callers are not like fine wines, you know.
Yeah, they
Don't let them age. You gotta strike while the iron is hot.
But that one had a nice nose.
Yeah. And
Anyway,
he was also in Gorky Park.
Gorky
Ooh.
Park. There's
Oh,
one
You know
that I
what,
missed.
Russian thriller.
Really?
Oh, Martin Cruz Smith wrote the book, and that is such a good movie.
Gorky Park.
But yeah, it's about about the former Soviet
It's a
Union.
murder mystery.
It's a super murder mystery, and a murder mystery in Soviet Russia, with all of the corruption of the government. It's a super, to see the movie, read the book, it's great. Yeah.
Well, there's one for you to check out while you're sitting at home, trying to figure out what you want to watch next on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, and speaking of Russian corruption, last night
But you repeat yourself.
last night I watched Anna, a spy movie from last year involving the old Soviet Union, as Gorky Park did. Only instead of being Russian policemen, it was involved with the KGB. And Anna was one of the agents that they trained to go kill people.
Right.
And very,
We like
That sounds very uplifting.
yeah, very. Well, it was very Russian.
Or is it undertaking? I'm not sure.
Was it Russian with subtitles?
No.
Oh.
It
was just-
actually, it was.
Who's in that?
Helen Mirren.
Who?
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren. Oh,
Really? Wow.
we love her.
Helen Mirren played
Yes.
a corrupt KGB official, and some beautiful young girl played Anna. Very convoluted, twisty tale of this poor girl who's, as I guess it happens sometimes, is kind of trapped into becoming an assassin for the KGB. But I didn't realize until it was over that it was directed by our old friend Luc Besson.
Oh, Luc Besson, who made your favorite.
That's right,
Yes,
the greatest
the-
movie ever made, Fifth Element.
Yes, sir.
And from your perspective, the greatest movie ever made, Leon the Professional.
Oh, yes, with the great Jean Reno.
I love the way you pronounce
I'm gonna
French
gurgle
things.
now. Yeah, Jean Reno.
Yeah.
Well, with all this COVID-19 stuff, a lot of people just, sitting at home trying to catch different movies. And as we were mentioning earlier this morning, Jerry Foster, the helicopter pilot extraordinaire who was so well known here in Arizona for so long, he posted up yesterday morning, and I had to share it. He said, "For the first time in history, we can save the human race by laying in front of the TV and doing nothing. Let's not screw this up."
Yes, exactly.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about some things maybe people can find on Netflix or things like that while they're sitting at home.
Yeah.
Oh,
How about Leon the
The
Professional?
It's on Netflix.
And how long
yes.
ago was this made?
It's
let's see.
when, what's her
Portman
name?
was 12.
Yes, Natalie Portman was 12, and she is absolutely riveting. She's really kind of the center of the movie. Without giving away too much, she bonds to a hitman.
Yeah, she's a waif.
And, yeah, she's a waif who bonds to a hitman, and the great Gary Oldman plays the baddest of the baddest DEA corrupt agents. Oh my goodness, he's riveting. It's such a good movie.
Yep, sure
Yeah,
is.
Yeah.
And the name again is?
Leon, the Professional by Luc Besson.
Okay, so about how many years ago was this made?
Thirty,
Yeah.
20,
I don't know.
20, yeah,
So it goes
at
back a
least-
ways.
I
At least
get,
20,
I'm
25.
losing track here the older I get.
Yeah.
So
I didn't
it's at
realize-
least 20.
I didn't realize that Luke was as old as he is. I
Yeah.
think of him, as, this is somebody that I've just discovered, but time does pass.
Yeah.
He also, less successfully, I guess, just recently did a beautifully filmed, but stupid movie called Valerian.
Is that with a PH or an F?
V,
Oh, Valerian.
Valerian.
You mean like the stuff you take to sleep?
No, it's a science fiction thing, but
Oh.
just gorgeous colors, but.
Well, he's a
don't-
great director, even
Yeah.
if he's got, cut to work with.
Yeah, and he also directed his then paramour
Mhm.
in The Messenger, a story about Joan of Arc that was a
Oh,
like a
yes,
total
I saw that.
bomb.
Yeah. But you know what? Seriously,
And Joan
still.
of Arc, she was hot.
Yeah, well, she.
Sorry, it's Friday.
Craig, where are you?
There's a great line in Master and Commander where the doctor says to the captain, "A man who would pun would pick a pocket." I find it hard to improve upon that.
The lowest form of humor.
Yeah, and that's another great movie to see, but it is very slow. It's very kind of meditative, Master and Commander, with.
Lots of time on the
Yes.
high seas.
Yes, it really
putting
gives you,
along.
it gives you the feeling of what it would have been like to be on those sailing ships.
For months and months.
Months and months. And
They
remind
get
me.
to go to the
of-
Galapagos in that movie.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
remind me.
Intentionally, or?
Yeah.
Who's the star of that again? It was.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah. Back in the day, he was the man. Yeah, Gladiator, one of my favorite
that was a
movies,
movie.
and one of my favorite movie scores by the great Hans Zimmer,
Right.
who is just.
I think I've seen Gladiator 4 or 5 times, and if I saw it again, if it came up on TV, I'd probably watch it again.
I listened to the score. I have the CD, or the
So,
CD.
And while we're on Russell Crowe,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to let the opportunity to go by without mentioning Mystery Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great Russell Crowe movie and a wonderful Alaska movie.
Mystery Alaska.
Mystery Alaska. It's a complete baloney, but
Did they actually shoot it in Alaska?
I doubt it.
Probably in Connecticut or something.
Well, usually they shoot Alaska movies in British Columbia.
There you go.
Because there's no unions, movie unions.
Right.
But it's just a charming little movie about a little community in Alaska that does a lot of hockey playing. And
Oh,
they,
yeah.
And they,
That's a great movie.
yeah, they bring up the New York Rangers to play an exhibition, and they bring Little Richard to sing the national anthem.
Well, there's an interesting choice.
And because they're playing outdoors and they want to freeze the Rangers, who are not used to playing outdoors in Alaska in the wintertime, they also sing the Canadian national anthem, even though neither of the teams are from Canada, just to put an extra chill.
That'll chill 'em.
But Russell Crowe
He is
is a
great, yeah.
great guy.
19 minutes past the hour, a caller on the line. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Thanks for calling. Hi.
Alaska, remember the movie Never Cry Wolf? where he was a
Yes.
pilot?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful movie. That is a,
Oh, he actually climbed out of the plane to bang on the carburetor and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that is just the most wonderful Alaskan moment. Caller, if you didn't know, I lived in Alaska for 30 years, and when Brian Dennehy is in this airplane, the engine conks out. So does he despair? No! He kind of gets halfway out his window and bangs on his motor with a wrench or something, and sure enough, starts it right up.
Yeah, that was a really good movie. Charles Martin Smith was in that.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, great movie.
And the name of it again was?
Never Cry Wolf.
Never
Never
Cry
Cry
Wolf.
Wolf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
highly
Farley-
recommended.
Yeah,
If you can
based on the Farley Moet novel.
Yes,
Or
yes.
book, I guess it was, I don't know if it
Sort
was.
of a semi.
Well, after spending,
Also in, yeah, lost it.
Well, after spending
Oops.
30 years in Alaska, if you were going to pick any movie that really kind of exemplified the reality of living in Alaska, what comes to your mind?
Nanook,
Nanook of the North?
yes.
Yeah, that was a silent movie.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
an
way
older-
back
older-
in the
older
day.
one, older
Yeah,
one, but-
about an actual
Yeah.
Eskimo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this was back when they were doing silent movies?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
It goes
was
back that
from the
far.
20s, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
We
what
studied-
about-
Very, very old.
We studied that in film school.
So
It
what
was a
about
really
that,
amazing movie.
I mean, that really surprises me that you
Just,
pick a silent movie.
the authenticity.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the storyline standpoint, or the cinematography, or both?
The depiction of native life in
Yes.
a realistic way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And, before the electricity and whatnot, this is a pretty precarious existence
So,
in the far north.
When you think back to the 30 years that you spent in Alaska, I mean, do you sometimes sit around waxing nostalgic and decide to, hey, I think I'll go eat some whale blubber?
Whale blubber tastes, I want you to imagine this. Take a go-ahead,
I'm guessing it tastes like unseasoned snot.
take a go-ahead and then soak it in cod liver oil.
A goat head?
No, a go-ahead, a
Like a
flip-flop, a
flip-flop.
beach
That's what they
sandal.
call them up there because they don't wear them.
Ah,
Yeah, we call them Zoris in Hawaii.
really?
The beach slipper.
Ah, okay. And of course, there's a lot of women that
Beach slipper.
have now changed the definition of the term thong, so we can't talk about them that way.
No,
Yeah,
you certainly can't.
yeah.
And just soak that for, 6 months in cod liver oil and then chew it. And that's what blubber tastes like.
Dang, it's like Alaska's version of poi.
Or Norway's version of lutefisk.
Yeah, well, it's,
Beautiful.
in all cases, acquired taste.
I'd probably like it.
Yeah. And,
Let's have some with poi one of these days. That would
that's
be
a good
really
idea.
good.
Should bring
Yeah.
some in.
Right.
And if you want to get a movie, not necessarily about Alaska, but the Yukon, which is close enough, that is unauthentic, Dudley Do Right.
Ah, no.
Complete balderdash.
I like a little bit of balderdash once in a while. Anyway, that and Verities. Anyway, 22 minutes past 9 o'clock. Got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more on Rim Country Forum. If you have a comment or question about maybe a movie that you'd like to suggest people watch on Netflix, or go rent the DVD or something, give us a ring. 474-2427, the number to call.
Your will, living trust, or power of attorney documents
Reminded
should
me
be
of
in
the
place
album
in
from
order
Harry
to
Chapin,
avoid the
Verities
time
and
expense
Balderdash.
of probate court
Great
proceedings.
album.
These documents should be reviewed
I've
and updated if they were done
been
years ago.
I saw Harry Chapin in concert
Lawyers
3 times
and data
before he died in
law are
1980.
experienced
Wow.
in
And
all
love his
areas
music.
of
He
estate
was such an
planning
amazing
and
storyteller.
helping
And,
families
The story, the song about
protect your
the
family's future
guy
now.
who's
For initial consultation,
in
call
love
the
with the
data
girl and
law
she becomes an
at
actress and he becomes a pilot.
928-445-4840.
Oh, and
they meet.
That's 445.
years later.
Oh, that's the sequel. Well, I mean, Taxi was that, and then they did a sequel to Taxi. That was a good one. Verities and Balderdash was also where Cats in the Cradle was on that album. He had another really amazing song that, as far as a storyteller, I've always just been astounded by it. It's called Mr. Tanner. And it's a guy he was a cleaner, laundry guy. And he would always sing while he was washing clothes and stuff, and people would, constantly compliment him and tell him that, you need to, try and pursue a career. So he saved up all of his money and went to New York to have this big town hall debut, and everything was building up to this with all kinds of excitement. But when he actually did the performance, he lacked a little self-confidence, and all he could hear was the flaws. And the critic, and this was actually, the song was written around a review that Harry Chapin read in the New York Times. And after reading it, he thought, how could anyone be that cruel when he wrote this song? But the review was, so-and-so made his town hall debut last night, but his performance lacked the range of tonal color necessary to make it consistently interesting. A full-time endeavor of another profession might be in order, or something like that. And so he walks away crushed. It's about a 4.5, 5-minute song. It's absolutely astounding. I highly recommend
This
it.
is Harry Chapin. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hospitality Wireless, guaranteeing our service for reliability, speed, and quality. Oh, and did I tell you can lower your bill with something that's affordable again for internet, phone, and TV? Hospitality Wireless, 928-468-0000. Or shoot a text to 928-970-2065 to find out more. Hospitality Wireless.
25 minutes past 9 o'clock, 59 degrees. Looking for that high again of 69, as we just mentioned. A complete look at your your Rim Country weather forecast coming up here in just a moment. Meanwhile, we've been talking a little bit about different movie suggestions and things like that you can watch as you're trying to figure out what to do as you're socially distancing yourself at home and all those kind of good things. Talked a little bit about the fact that Andy spent 30 years living up in Alaska, getting his perspective on the best movie that exemplifies the reality of living in Alaska. And got to ask Tina as well. Now, you've lived in a number of different places, but you spent a fair amount of time in Hawaii, in the Hawaiian Islands.
Less than I come across as being an expert, and of course, if I'm third generation, I can sort of lunch out on that.
Right.
But I only lived there for a total of 9 years.
Still.
Yeah, 4 years when I was a little kid in Kailua on Oahu, and then 5 years in the 80s when I had a small business there, which was suicidal. Yeah, because Forbes magazine, at the time I was running a small business there, came out and said Hawaii is a veritable purgatory for small business.
Oh, lovely.
And we were talking this morning, since they've closed down and really made it, they've quarantined the whole state.
Mm-hmm.
Even between islands, you can't go without being in quarantine.
Right.
Latest figures I heard were 37% unemployment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
So
That's higher than usual.
Yeah, it is.
sadly.
It is.
So when we talk about movies, is there one movie out there that you feel really epitomizes the idea of the reality of living in Hawaii?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. The
Please don't say Pearl Harbor.
No, well, the movie Hawaii with Max von Sydow and Julie Andrews was made from the James Michener novel, which anybody who is
And
really
Charlton Heston.
Pardon me?
And Charlton Heston.
Oh, indeed, yes.
And Mako.
And Mako, that's right. Mako, which actually is Hawaiian for shark.
Yep.
Yep.
A
But-
type of shark.
Yes.
Oddly enough.
The book is, as all James Michener, is huge, and takes the story from prehistoric times of the formation of the islands by the volcano. But come on, y'all, you're all at home, you have too much time on your hands. Read the book Hawaii. It's really, really good.
No,
James
see the movie.
Michener.
Don't read any books.
Well, don't read
Watch the
books.
movie.
Yeah, right.
Your hometown book guy.
I'm a book guy here, right? But it really is very true to cultural transitions. And if you ever get to go to Hawaii again, hopefully you will, if you go to Oahu, go to Bishop Museum, which was designed and built by my great-grandfather. And there is a wonderful Paua'i Hall, which is the central hall, that was his actual creation. You can start at the ground floor and you can walk up this very winding spiral ramp from the earliest times, takes you up to the later times. So it's a chronological trip.
Interesting.
Really good. But yeah, I would say the movie Hawaii, even though,
Yeah.
it's 1966, I think it was.
It's pretty old, yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw Ben-Hur the other day.
Oh.
With Charlton Heston as well.
Oh, yeah.
But you also lived in Singapore,
Yes.
and I can think of 3 movies set in Singapore.
Mhm.
Saint Jack,
Yes.
King Rat.
Yeah, I was going to say King Rat.
King Rat.
King Rat with George Segal. It was made from the James Clavell novel about being imprisoned, which he was, in Changi Prison, which was Singapore's, during the occupation by the Japanese.
Yeah, horrible.
That's an amazing movie,
Yeah,
yeah.
horrible tale. A great,
Yeah.
great movie, great book.
Yeah.
St. Jack I thought was really interesting.
Mhm.
And the only other Singaporean movie I can think of is Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I just love.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
That's a modern
about,
Singapore
what,
thing.
3 years ago or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
They're-
and Crazy Rich Asians is really fun.
Yeah.
It's got, one of the actresses in there, so the smaller role, is a New York gal called Aquafina. And she...
Doesn't she have a bottled water company or something?
No, but she does have a TV show.
Yeah.
Really?
And yeah, and she is really, really funny and completely off the wall.
The name sounds, reminds me of, y'all been around Arizona long enough to remember who Jack Ross was?
Nope.
Jack Ross was a big car dealer back in the day, and his wife had some B-movie things, and her name was Aquanetta.
Oh, great
This was
name.
back in the days of Beehive hairdos where everyone needed their Aquanet hair spray. I mean.
Yes, yeah.
But anyway, so what about, we talked a little bit about some of the places that, you've lived.
Jamaica, man.
Jam-
We're here to talk about Jamaica.
Is there a movie that exemplifies Jamaica?
Yes, man, The Harder They Come.
Really?
That is the great movie of all time about Jamaica, and it's
Really?
very, very depressing. It's not.
It bums me out to talk to you, Tina.
I'm so ebullient.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
The Harder They Come was made while we were there. It was from a book that was written about the real Jamaica, which is, the gangs and the poverty, and, we lived in Kingston. It was made by friends of ours there, and it has the greatest score, of course, the song The Harder They Come.
Right.
But Jimmy Cliff, Many Rivers to Cross.
Hmm.
And Jimmy Cliff, I love Jimmy Cliff.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah,
from...
Jimmy Cliff is really something.
Yeah, and Dr. No, of course, was made in Jamaica.
That's right.
I didn't realize
Yes,
that.
with the great Sean Connery and the great Ursula Andress.
That's right.
I've been told many times that tourists going down to Jamaica, it's a good idea not to venture too far away from the tourist spots themselves.
That's what they say, and I have a friend who keeps wanting for me to go revisit. The last time I saw Jamaica was 1977.
Right.
Come on, not sure what's going on down there, but not a happy place for those of us who remember the old days,
Kind of
1960.
There's some darkness there.
Yeah, but The Harder They Come, really see it, and it was so, the patois was so strong that they gave up and gave it subtitles.
All right, now we got to take a fast break and get to today's Rim Country weather forecast. When we come back, though, I want to find out, what do you think is the best movie that exemplifies Arizona? Be thinking about that. We'll talk more about it right after this.
Hi, I'm Dan with David Florida.
Of course, Tombstone's got to be in there, but
Raising Arizona.
Gunfight, the OK Corral. It is
Yeah,
a waterproof
yeah.
and scratch-resistant flooring.
Yeah.
Shaw Flooring makes many
It was just a
different
mediocre
styles
Corral.
and
Just
finishes
okay.
with an authentic look of real wood. You'll be amazed. So come visit
Because
us
I'm-
at 810
I want to talk about
North
Fauda
Beeline Highway
when we get a
Check
chance.
out our new
Fauda?
Shaw
It's
luxury
the
vinyl
series
plank.
on
And
Netflix.
remember,
Oh, that's
The
right.
we don't
Israeli,
just do a
oh
good
my
job.
God.
We
Oh
do
my
a
Okay,
damn
we'll get to
good
it.
job.
I'm just
Your
juggling
KMOG
balls in the air here.
Yeah, yeah.
forecast
See what
for
we
this
can
catch. We got an
Friday,
hour,
April
so.
17th. It will be partly
27
cloudy
minutes
and
to be
windy
exact.
today. Winds in Payson gusting around
You live here,
22
come
miles
on.
an hour, with our high expected to be near 69
I-
degrees.
the reason I'm asking is because when I think about it,
Winds will be gusting up near 30 miles an hour.
I'm not sure that anything particular comes to
Near
mind.
58 degrees.
I mean, it's
And
an
our
old
neighbors
great,
to the south,
everything
Tahoe
that I
Basin,
can think
those
of
headed
are
out
old
to
westerns.
Roosevelt Lake. Your high on this Friday, a warm 82.
Not raising Arizona.
Yeah,
We do have the
not a Western.
that
No.
will be passing
Well,
by.
What was it? Wasn't it the
Raising
Gauntlet that was,
Raising
filmed in
Arizona
the
with, with Nicolas
Stick around,
Cage
we'll take a
and,
complete look at your 7-day
what's her name?
forecast coming up
Goldie
right
Hawn.
here on
Wow.
your information station,
now,
KMOG.
On behalf of KMOG and Riding the Rim, we just want to say
Who's the actress in Raising Arizona?
I have no clue, I never saw it.
oh my God, it's so good, Raising Arizona.
I have no clue in general.
I do, I have two everyone.
I think I saw the first 5 minutes and was so put off by the silliness of it
we
that
want to
I,
say thank you.
Well, yeah.
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter.
Yeah.
Here we go, 5 seconds.
And John Goodman.
There you have it, 26 minutes in front of 10 o'clock, 60 degrees, and this morning on Rim Country Forum, as we do on Fridays, talking with your hometown movie guys, -1 anyway. We have Tina and Andy with us in the studio this morning. And if you've ever, thought to yourself, I'd really like to see what goes on there behind the scenes. Well, just go online and go to YouTube and look for the Don Klein channel. He's in here right now pointing cameras at us, and normally you get a great shot of the back of my head, and it'll be an inspiration for you, certainly. Fortunately, I don't think there's too much back there that's shiny yet, but give it another couple weeks, you never know what might happen. At any rate, look for the Don Klein channel on, there, Don comes around in front of the camera once in a while, but look for the Don Klein channel on Facebook, or excuse me, on YouTube. And he usually posts his stuff up pretty quick after Fridays when he gets in here and films this, so there you go.
Well, I for one certainly enjoy watching it.
Yeah, because you just love watching yourself.
Well, that is true.
It's true. Well, now, what about my question before the break there? I mean, and I'm asking this because I'm not sure really what comes to my mind, but a movie that exemplifies, exudes Arizona. All of the things that come to my mind are old westerns. Certainly, when you start talking about Tombstone and some of those, that was some great Arizona history. There was a lot of old westerns that were shot, and this goes back, quite a ways, but shot up in Monument Valley and everything that really kind of...
John Ford.
Yeah, it just exemplifies that stereotype of Arizona. But, I mean, Tina, what comes to your mind as far as something that really exemplifies Arizona?
I was thinking Stagecoach.
What was that one that was just done? They had a special showing at,
Oh, the one that was from fucking Center, no.
at
Oh,
the
that Jake's
sawmill.
Corner.
No.
Jake's Corner.
Powers War.
Huh?
Powers War.
Yeah.
It
Was filmed, where was it filmed, Andy? You saw it, right?
Yeah, I don't know, down in Graham County someplace, I think.
Right.
But that was really interesting, very low budget film, locally made, but it involves the last serious shootout in the Wild West. It was like the culmination, the last Wild West shootout, and it was down someplace down there. I think in Graham County, but maybe not.
Well, it was shot at that,
Oh, you're thinking of Jake's Corner.
yeah.
The movie called Jake's Corner.
Yeah, I think-
Yeah.
Actually, I got to be there for the premiere of that right here in Payson.
Right.
too.
And it was
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
And got to meet all the folks that were in it, and then we never heard about the movie again.
Right.
I thought it was actually a pretty well done movie for not an A-list movie, but I thought it did a pretty
Yeah, that was
respectful job.
the first time I ever saw Danny Trejo.
Oh, man, I love
He played
him.
the town drunk.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Not much of a stretch.
And taking books again, and then what was made from books, there's a great couple of books by an author, I gotta look her up, but her book is called Half Broke Horses. I don't think they've made it yet into a movie, but they should. It's about she wrote in the first person singular as her grandmother, who was in old Arizona, mud hut, monsoons, Indians, just breaking horses. But she did also write a book called The Glass Castle, which was made
Oh.
into the movie. Yeah, same gal, and
Wow.
that was her own autobiography with Woody Harrelson, and I forget who else was in that. But I'm waiting for them to make Half Broke Horses, because that would be a super movie. Definitely Arizona.
Well, and as long as we're on Arizona themes, we should also mention the extremely popular Outlander series. And even though it's set in Scotland, in the
There's a whole section in Arizona, right?
1700s.
Right.
The author is an Arizona woman. So,
And there's a
so we got to
section-
count that.
And I've watched that whole series, and there's a section in the Wild West in Arizona.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Yes,
thought
there
they were
is.
just in Virginia or someplace.
No.
I haven't been keeping up.
It's you gotta watch the whole thing. It's a really good and historically very interesting how she dramatizes certain historical incidences in Scotland and England and elsewhere. Arizona.
How'd they get to Arizona?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna tell you, you gotta watch it. And by the way, I'm gonna put a public service announcement up here. Andy needs help in getting streaming activated at his house.
So if there's any available 8-year-olds out there.
Yeah, I know. He keeps saying his son's coming up, but I'm like, man, Roku, get yourself a Roku. That's what we do.
There are ways.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, though, too. When we start talking about the different series that more and more are available through Netflix and stuff, I know there's one that you've been really anxious to talk about, Tina, that you've been rather enthralled with.
Oh, man, anybody who hasn't seen this needs to. If you have Netflix, which I do, it's called Fauda, and it's F-A-U-D-A. It's an Israeli series funded by Netflix. It's a Netflix supported series. And it is absolutely riveting. It is about what it's like to live in Israel, and they have the undercover agents, the Israelis versus the Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
Lior Raz is originated the series. He stars in it, and he's an ex-Israeli commando.
You'd have great perspective on this story.
Man, this is so good, and season 3 just started, and you have this, you want to binge, but you also want to make it last. And there's 12 episodes, but man, you got to see this series. It's so good. Fauda.
I think I've met 2 Israeli commandos in my life, and they were both really good guys.
Yeah.
But guys that you really would not want to upset.
Oh man, I'll tell you, and the real closeness of the 2 factions fighting each other. There are times where you can't tell who's an Israeli and who's an Arab, who's a Palestinian. And that's pretty poignant, because these people are living cheek by jowl next to each other, and they want to kill each other.
You don't have to know the difference, they know the difference.
Well, they know the difference, but when you're watching the series and you're trying to understand the nature of everyday life and the conflict, it's so fascinating.
Fauda.
Fauda.
There you go.
Yeah.
18 minutes in front of the hour. Another caller on the line real quick before we lose them. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hi. You talking about
Jake's Corner? No, I don't think it did very.
but I found
It's a bomb?
Yeah, but I found actually the movie to be, fairly interesting. I mean, it was, I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't, I don't think any of us were shocked that it didn't pull down some Emmys or anything, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. So did you have fun being in the movie?
But it was a big hit in Payson. And it said, is this Doc? I thought I recognized your voice, Doc.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, Doc.
Hey, good point, though. I mean, I really enjoyed going to that premiere and everything. I think I still have a hat or a shirt or, an old napkin or something that was autographed by some of those folks. But it was just kind of neat to see that sort of activity come here to Rim Country. It used to be, for people that have been around Rim Country for a while, you will remember the name Ray Frost. He was one of the town fathers that passed away a number of years ago, but was very much involved in economic development here in Rim Country, and attracted a number of pretty large-scale commercials to be shot here, and because of just the amazing countryside that we have around here. I'd really like to see Arizona get a little bit maybe more open-minded towards trying to attract some of these. I know they don't want to give them any tax breaks or something like that, but it seems like that could bring a whole bunch of money into the state if we could find some kind of win-win way to attract more of that. We certainly have a beautiful state to show off that way. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling in. That was
thanks,
great.
Doc.
So other series, I got another one.
Uh-oh.
One, if anybody has Amazon Prime, which I do, There's a great series called
Bragger.
Yeah. Yeah, you need
She
to
even
get-
has internet connectivity.
Yeah, I know.
You
What
should
a
go visit her
concept,
sometime.
What a concept, really. There's a great series my husband got me involved in, Counterpart. It's on Amazon Prime. It's sort of a sci-fi series, but it has the great J.K. Simmons. Now, you might not recognize the name, but
I do.
Yeah, the guy is such a
Is
great
that Richard's brother?
No.
and he is a character actor who won Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. And he,
Most famous for his insurance commercials.
yes, well, see, and I don't have network TV,
Yeah,
so you have network TV, but what the heck, man, you're a movie guy.
Occasionally, they even show movies on the networks.
Yeah, I know. Well, he sees it then, but he has to have advertisements, so.
Well, you have a reason to go to the bathroom, you know?
Yeah.
I end up watching Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool about once a week because they're on the network channels.
Hey, we got another caller real quick. Let's take one
Yeah.
more before a break here. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hi there.
Oh,
Oh, it's fine. Oh,
Well, Arizona. That goes
great,
back
and
to
I love
19
William Holden. I
Yeah.
love him. Thank you for that.
And do you know what part of Arizona that was shot in? Was that well, down to and the Tucson studios down there, the old Tucson studios, where they kicked out an awful lot of westerns out of there over the years, way back when. Interesting, and how appropriately named, Arizona.
that's right.
Gotta love it. I'm still trying to think of any movie, and I appreciate the call. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Forgot all about that one. But I'm trying to think also of any movie, about Arizona that doesn't have to do with the Old West.
Schwarzenegger made one, 3-4 years ago. And one of the first movies that he made after he stopped being governor, where he was a sheriff down in some fictionalized version of Ajo. I can't remember the name of it now. It wasn't a very good movie. It's kind of a shoot.
Appropriately located near Y, Arizona.
Yeah. What a great name.
We don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Still,
how about the-
100 years later, we
How
still
about the
don't.
Gauntlet?
I thought that was filmed in Nevada.
No, the actual shoot scene was in downtown Phoenix.
Oh, was it?
Where they took the bus up and they had everyone shooting at it?
Yeah.
All of that?
We have to talk about Raising Arizona because it has Arizona in the title.
Okay.
And it was made by the great Coen brothers who I don't think they've ever made anything I didn't love. And it has Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter, and it's a hoot. It's great.
Gotta love it. Hey, one more quick call before break. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Hey, Bill.
26 men.
Nope.
We're all drawing a blank here, Phil.
Am I
Sorry.
supposed to say it's before my time, even though I'm back in the Stone Age? I don't know.
Oh.
So would this been like the 1960s or?
Wow.
Oh, about 50s
Wow.
or 40s. Wow.
Yeah.
And what was it called again, Phil?
26 men.
26 men? Who's in that?
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So it was just 26, and these were Arizona Rangers?
Oh,
Very interesting.
awesome.
And Phil, we've had Phil here on the show before. Phil's done quite a bit of work being the armor for a lot of different
Yeah.
movies and stuff like that. Definitely has a lot of firearm experience, I guess would be a nice way to put it shortly. Phil, is there, other than that movie, is there any others that come to your mind when you think of something that really epitomizes Arizona?
Going over and touch it.
Oh, wasn't that Junior Bonner?
Yeah, Junior Law.
Junior
Wow.
Bonner.
And it was called Arizona Morning.
No, it was called Junior Bonner.
Oh, hello.
But, we've had so many great films done here. the majority of which were Western. I mean, I've worked on so many of them in the last 25, 30 years, it's just ridiculous. But Arizona, then it was, at one time, a great place to film until the state got clever and didn't help, with the tax programs like some of the other states do.
Yeah, clever is an
Right.
interesting word to use there. I think there's
Yeah.
probably a few others that could be used there.
I detect a snark, which I
A little bit of
love.
snark, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Thanks for bringing up Junior Bonner and Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen also did a movie that has a kind of a Arizona slant to it. Now I can't remember.
It's getting old, ain't
Oh,
for
Tom
sissies.
Horn.
Oh, Tom Horn.
And Tom Horn bragged that he had an involvement in the Pleasant Valley War.
Right.
And Steve McQueen is just a tremendous, tremendous actor. I haven't seen Junior Bonner in really a long time, and I think I'll make a point of seeing it again. And also Tom Horn. Tom Horn was an outlaw, I guess. There's no other way of putting it. He was a killer.
Right.
And he was hung for a murder that he did not commit. So,
But there were so many that he did.
well, that's not that he
Yeah.
didn't deserve to be hung. He just
Right.
didn't deserve to be
Karma, baby.
hung for that. And at the end of the movie, he's on the gallows, and he said, "Mr. Horn, do you have any last words?" And he just looked at him and says, "You can't hurt a Christian."
Wow.
And I've never forgotten that. And to have that line delivered by Steve McQueen was just terrific.
Wow.
He was finally
So
captured
thanks,
because
Phil. That's a good
Yeah,
walk
thank
down
you,
memory
Bill.
lane there.
Yeah.
he was finally captured because he couldn't figure out how to manipulate the safety on a new semi-automatic firearm.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Well, he's in good company.
Hey, we're gonna take a fast break, we're gonna come back. Phil, thanks for the call, we'll open up the phone lines again. Here's another angle on that question.
Olivia Williams.
What about, what Arizona story needs to have
Olivia
a movie
Williams
made
is in
about it?
Counterpart with
What do you think
J.K.
about that?
Simmons.
Give us a ring, whether it's on
And
that or
she
anything else,
was
474-2427.
in
Back with
Sixth
more after
Sense.
these words.
James and Glenn's
And-
What about Fire in the Sky?
Yes.
Snap.
And that's Rib Country too.
Yeah, that's super good country, right?
Yeah.
But Olivia Williams, you would recognize
idea.
her.
They're temporarily
She was in The Sixth Sense
While billing for the month of April.
and,
They
The
appreciate your
Postman.
patience during this time.
Oh.
Stay
Yeah,
strong,
she had her
stay
her
well.
debut in Rushmore. She was in
And
Rushmore.
where was the movie Good, the Bad, and the Ugly supposed to be?
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that.
Get a-
Where
It
that
was shot in Italy, I think, but
Yeah, 'cause
it was supposed to be in the
being
Southwest
able to
somewhere.
See.
I'm not sure. I remember the movie, but.
On Netflix
Sunshine
and
Cleaning
Prime.
and Restoration. Certified and reliable.
It's funny, I tried to watch it again here a while back, and it was so overdone and spooky, I couldn't.
To be on
Couldn't
What is
stand
this
it.
now?
The
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh.
I couldn't think of where it was supposed to be shot.
Spain.
Well, yeah, but that's
Well, it
where
was
was
shot.
Spain.
It was shot in Spain, but it was supposed to be covering the
Oh,
Southwest.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we got another caller on the line. We want to talk about Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Premium Steaks is having another
we still got 40
That's one of my pet projects.
Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for a shot. And the intro
Where was that premium steak? I went down there yesterday, there was nothing there. The premium steak?
I was there doing a remote yesterday. I was there.
chicken breast.
Right just north of Chili's in the Sawmill Shopping Plaza parking lot.
Also boxes of individual prime portions.
Big truck, big white tents. They were there till 7 o'clock last night.
I was there yesterday, there was nothing.
Bundle up deals that include a free drink and
I went down around 12.
accepting cash, credit, and
I was there. And I was there till 2 o'clock yesterday.
Fire at the
So we were,
sky.
we'd lost a lot of weight though. We were real skinny. You might not have seen us.
I need meat. I need more meat. That's why I went down. I need meat.
Just like,
Yeah.
welcome back to Rim Country 4. Sitting here just having more darn fun than we should be allowed. Talking with your hometown movie guys, Tina and Andy with us in the studio this morning. And we've been kind of bouncing around talking about favorite movies of different kind of focused on different locations, different series that are available right now that you can check out on Netflix if you're sitting at home trying to, figure out something to binge watch or whatever. And we've been asking the question of, is there a particular movie about Arizona, set in Arizona, that kind of exudes Arizona? Got another comment on that to share with you here in just a moment. Or is there a story that went on here in Arizona that needs to have a movie, or maybe a newer movie made about it, some of the historical stories over the years? What do you think? Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Ah, that felt good.
That's
Well,
two, Randy.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that
Good.
One show.
we're gonna, Don Klein, who's, we make him sit in the corner here, and that's why when you hear him, he's kind of off in the distance. But one of the things, we're gonna have him on the show here soon. He's quite the UFO aficionado. So it doesn't surprise me at all that in asking about what movie really exemplifies not only Arizona, but also Rim Country, Fire in the Sky,
Yeah.
set up in the Heber area about the guy that supposedly was abducted by aliens.
And one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. I literally couldn't finish it.
Really?
Yeah, it really got me.
Wow.
Scary, scary. Yeah.
Wow. And I don't know. I, when it comes to these things, I guess I have a hard time believing that God would make an infinite universe without having life out there somewhere else. But at the same time, we were talking earlier this morning that there's been recently, we've received a rash of phone calls, people I think it was Wednesday night, saying, what the heck are those lights up in the sky, Maynard? And I ended up finding out that it's these satellites that are being put up by, what's his name, circling the globe to bring internet to everyone, including Andy.
SpaceX.
SpaceX, yeah. It's a string of SpaceX satellites, and the lights from those is what people were seeing.
Right.
And those are low orbit satellites, and they're going to have like a couple thousand of those, I think, circling the globe here. So,
One of my buddies was living up in Heber at the time of the abductions, and knew some of those people that were involved.
right.
And his conclusion is he can't verify that it actually happened, but he does verify that they think it actually happened.
Yeah. Well, but it's one of these things where apparently.
And why in the world you would make something up like that, just make yourself a laughing stock?
Right. So he obviously believed them, didn't think that, he wasn't making a comment like, yeah, old Joe there, he hits the sauce a little early in the evening, and he thought, well, gosh, these guys must really believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting.
We used to have a caller, Randy, I wonder if we still do it.
Let's find out. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hey, there we go. I know that, To the Last Man, the novel written by Zane Grey, I think that way back in the 40s or something like that, they may have made a movie, but, by today's current professional standards, I'm sure it doesn't really add up. But that was going to be, thank you for that.
That's a good point,
I was going to suggest that because it's such a fascinating story about how the whole thing went, and all the way down to when the last person was killed, and the fact that there, it included a team of horses between Pleasant Valley and Phoenix, that a guy could get all the way down there and back faster than anyone believed could happen, and he got away with the last murder, didn't admit it until he was on his deathbed. So I've been told anyway. But I think that'd be interesting.
And the Pleasant Valley War in my opinion, does not get nearly the respect that it deserves.
Yeah.
Everybody's heard about in New Mexico, the Lincoln County War.
Right.
Well, the Pleasant Valley War went on for a lot longer and killed a lot more people.
And the Grahams and Tewksbury's.
That's right, than the Lincoln County War. And there's no movies, there's no nothing.
Mm-hmm. I think, thanks for the call, by the way. Thank you for being patient, by the way.
And Zane Grey, the Riders of the Purple Sage, we should reference that. I don't know where it was made, but it is a Zane Grey.
And we should also remember the new riders of the Purple Sage and pay close attention to that.
Okay.
Inquiring minds may not want to know.
It's a musical group from the 60s.
Oh, yes, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot about that. I was too busy eating my Twinkies. Michelle, who always comes in with insightful little notes for me during the show, said, what about the Bangor Sisters that was partially filmed in the Arcadia district in Phoenix?
Yes, just,
Yeah.
well, a few years ago.
Yeah.
In this century.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I didn't, I'm drawing a
Yeah.
blank on that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it either, maybe I've seen
And
parts
she's
of
got it
it.
spelled Bangor, so I'm
Yeah,
assuming
that's
this is
correct.
tied to Bangor, Maine or something
No,
like that?
absolutely not. It's about two middle-aged housewives who had an interesting past as fans of musical groups.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, distant brain cells are firing, the synapses are working here.
It's amazing how those things come back over the
Yeah.
years. Well, so again, if you, it sounds like more and more, to just in conclusion here real quick, that things are going to be getting more and more back to normal here by the first of the month. No word yet on the official reopening of the Sawmill Theaters. We hope to have Craig back with us next week and maybe get a little bit more updated information on that. But meanwhile, we always enjoy having our hometown movie guys here with us. Tina and Andy, thanks for coming down and being with us today.
Thank you, and God bless, and everybody stay safe.
You know how much we like doing this.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I know, we
And
get paid the big bucks.
And we let you do it anyway. It's all brought to you by the good folks at the Dana Law Group, Sunshine Cleaning and Restoration, Hospitality Wireless, Dan Good Flooring, Anytime Fitness, Choice Auto and Truck, and Holiday Cruises and Tours. You're listening to Rim Country Radio,